What's happening, everybody? Jay Shockblast here, and man, Thor is looking pretty massive right now. And I'd like to point out that this right here, this is Thor. Thor Odin's son, to be exact. And he is the real Thor. And this is the Thor that I have always grown to love.
Greetings.
Dating all the way back to the movie Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. When, you know, Thor, quote-unquote, made an impromptu appearance. So Thor is probably one of my top 5 favorite comic book characters of all time. Right up there with Deadpool and Nova. Might even be number 3. So, huge fan of Thor, and it's been very sad and frustrating to watch this imposter pretend to be Thor. So, I like the fact that it says Jane Foster, and it hurts me to do this, but I am going to spend actual money and buy this costume.
Why we can't have nice things.
I think I bought it. Did I buy it? No, I didn't buy it. Alright. Confirm purchase. Alright. So, this is called doing my job. So, here we go. Jane Foster. And there she is. And got all sorts of human growth hormones going on here. Now, I've been very, very vocally against this character for a while. And with good reason. I just can't stand the thought that Marvel is so simple-minded that they have to name her Thor. Now, it's very important to understand. He who holds Thor's hammer, should he be deemed worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. I'm sort of paraphrasing, but the part that I'm not paraphrasing is the part at the end that everybody seems to forget. Shall possess the power of Thor. Okay? So I'm okay with Jane Foster holding the hammer, looking like Thor, sounding like Thor, fighting like Thor, having the power of Thor. Completely okay with that. Her name's Jane Foster. We now know who she is. They played the mystery game for a little while, and that's who it is. It's Jane Foster. You know, no spoilers. This is out there. So why is she called Thor? It's not her name. Her name is Jane. You can call her Thora, Thor girl, She-Thor, whatever you want. She's not Thor because Thor Odin's son is this dude right here. That's Thor. That's his name. That's who he is. This is the person who currently holds the power of Thor. So it's like being the god of thunder doesn't mean your name has to be Thor. Jane Foster is currently the god of thunder. Goddess of thunder. However you want to call it. So, I think that's been my biggest issue, is Marvel sold out to get on The View. Like, that's what it comes down to, because where did they make this announcement? They made it in front of those frauds on The View. Like, complete frauds, complete reactionist women. Alright, and there's nothing wrong with women enjoying comic books, but you're selling out to the demographic that watches that show, and I'm not saying they're all the same, but, you know, the predominant, you know, soccer mom, you know, mentality that watches that show. And yes, I understand I'm stereotyping here, and wow, that cape looks not so good. That's one of the not so great animations I've seen in this game, but I really feel like the demographic they were going after there does not have the attention span, you know, to sit there and actually buy comic books. And honestly, what happened when they basically...
I should save some of this wanton destruction for the enemies of Midgard.
See, she doesn't talk like that. She's not even from Midgard. Or she's from Midgard, I should say. She's not even from Asgard. Jane Foster is just an American scientist. So why is she talking like that? She didn't, like, should he be deemed worthy talk like Thor? No. You know, like, did she suddenly forget everything about herself before? No, I read the first few comics. I stopped buying them. I stopped buying all Marvel comics I honestly, I don't want to make it sound like DC's any better right now, but like, this was the point that they jumped the shark to me. You know, it wasn't good enough that, like, I honestly feel like Chris Hemsworth is going to sell, you know, more Marvel comic stuff than Jane Foster. I mean, that's exactly why, you know, Chris Hemsworth is still Thor in the movies, and they haven't switched to a female. You know, like, that's why they're keeping them separate. It's confusing. It's confusing for kids. It's confusing for, you know, the people that I just don't understand. Like, I'm all for having a powerful Asgardian. Her name's Lady Sif. I mean, but you're not going to get on The View if Lady Sif picks up Thor's hammer, and it's still Lady Sif. They don't care, you know. Like, The View only cares because you took a character that was a super strong and powerful character and said, "Oh, look, it's a girl now, yay!" You know, I think that's the part that irritates me the most, is that they took a character that I've invested a lot of time into, and even some money into. Like, I have got so many Thor collectibles, you know, like, and this is not Thor. This is, and they're trying so hard after the fact to make it a mantle. There's, like, because of the whole worlds coming together thing, there's this comic called Thors, plural, where there's all these different Thors, except they're all Thor Odin's son from different dimensions, you know? Like, it's so stupid, and it's so frustrating, because, you know, deep down you know that at some point, you know, Thor himself is going to be worthy again. He's going to get his Mjolnir back, and I'm all for, you know, Jane Foster going the route of Beta Ray Bill and getting something like Stormbringer, or I mean, Stormbringer or Stormbreaker, I forget what it's called, but he's got his own hammer, you know. So how awesome would it be to have the real Thor and Jane Foster, you know, two people who have been romantically linked for a very long time. I'm going to use the super here, even though there's, like, really not. You know, even though you can't really see it. It really didn't do any damage. I feel like they're making, those decisions are made for the wrong reason, you know? Like, I don't, mainstreams, I understand. You want as many eyes on the product as possible. You want to make money. That's cool, man. I totally get that. But, like, I really feel like there's a balance you have to you have to weigh. There is a balance. You have to, oh, come on, get out of there, get out of there. You have to understand that there are the people that got you there, you know? And I feel like those people should be on the importance meter, at least, like, it should be like 65, 35. You know, yes, you want to attract new people, but if the new people are so simple-minded that the only reason that they're going to pay attention is because you made a popular male character into a female, like, are those really the people that you want attached to your product? Like, are those the people that you want to depend on to buy your product? Okay, because I was the person they were depending on to buy their product before, and now I don't buy their product. Not only do I not buy their product, but for a little while I was torrenting them. I'm going to be honest. Like, I was doing the one thing that I've railed against for years, absolute hypocrite status. I am generally against pirating, but I could not and would not support this product, and not this product being, you know, Marvel Heroes, but, like, you know, this product being the comic books. You know, I just hate absolutely everything that they're doing right now. Like, I feel like everything that they're doing in the name of diversification is being done completely ass backwards. And, you know, you're forgetting the people that got you where you are. You know, Marvel is a massive corporation at this point, owned by Disney. And if you want to diversify your characters, create new characters. And I know that they're trying to do that, but people aren't paying attention to those characters nearly as much as they are the characters that they've always known and loved. So, you know, and there are some characters that they've changed that I'm like, okay, that's fine. That makes sense. 2 of them have costumes. What is this? 2 of them have costumes that I'm about to buy, and I'll show you right now. This one makes a whole lot of sense, okay? And then right here makes a whole lot of sense. Both of those situations are great situations that make a whole lot of sense, okay? You know, you're trying to, quote unquote, you killed Wolverine, so why not have, you know, a female that's his clone take the mantle of the Wolverine? It kind of makes sense, like, and it doesn't alienate me nearly as much. Do I prefer Wolverine and X-23, you know, both existing in this world? Absolutely. You know, I absolutely agree. I feel like that should be the way it is. But, you know, I just feel like every character that I love has something dumb going on around it, and this is just kind of like the height of it right here. You know, Jane Foster. But, you know, now that we know it's Jane Foster, why isn't she just Jane Foster?
Superheroes are
like, I feel like it's becoming more and more that she is Jane Foster. I just hate it. I really do. Like, I've grown to loathe this character. It doesn't even say Captain America here. It says Sam Wilson. You know, like, what's the difference? You know, like, Captain America, I get. You know, and I'm just trying to get this all new, all different. Like, all new, all different just makes me cringe. You know, Hulk is now Amadeus Cho. Like, why? Why can't Amadeus Cho be himself? Why does he have to be the totally awesome Hulk? Like, Amadeus Cho is like a borderline genius. You know, make him, like, I don't get it. Like, just so you can check another box on the diversity, you know, menu playlist. I feel like that's almost more insulting than it is, you know, not having a Korean American, you know, hero. You can have a Korean American hero. Does Amadeus Cho not exist outside of the Hulk? You know, and I understand that there have been other people that have had, you know, the Hulk serum and whatever, but what, you know, why does he have to be Hulk? You know, why couldn't he be like, you've got a red Hulk, why couldn't he just be like, I don't know, blue Hulk? You know, like, why does he have to be the one and only, you know, main Hulk? It just, these are the things that just irk me and seem unnecessary. You know, Captain America, absolutely a mantle. Thor is not. You know, Thor is a person. And I'm okay with Sam Wilson being Captain America. You know, it's fun. It's hard because, like, I understand that a lot of these characters that are popular were created in a time where we're in whitewashed America. And I get that. And I get that completely. And I'm sure that there are people that want to relate to their characters, quote unquote, but just relating, like, I don't understand the other end of it, you know? Like, I don't ever look at a comic book character based on their color, whether or not I like them, you know? Like, I just look at them as who they are, you know? Like even, like, last night, Boba Fett, you know, I made a video complaining about Michael B. Jordan possibly being cast as Boba Fett because it doesn't make sense. It's not because a white character is being cast by a black person. No, it's not like that at all. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with the fact that, you know, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
Unfortunately,
he's not.
Cyclops is leading.
He's not that character. Like, I don't buy it, you know. But even if it was race, you know, I feel really weird saying, thank God it was, you know, not a white character who's taking the role of, you know, like, because then it just seems like that's a cop out that Marvel has, is, you know, if you don't agree with their choice, then clearly it's something wrong with you, and you need to reevaluate your life. And I'm all for there being these type of characters. Again, powerful Asgardian woman, you want that? Awesome. Lady Sif, Angela, invest in them. And I know that they have, Angela that they're doing stuff with, and that's great. I think Angela's a great character that I really enjoy. I enjoyed her time with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll enjoy it even more when she's, with her on her own. But I can't support the product right now because I just hate, like, they're like, okay, let's just change everything up. And I understand that you want to, create new stories, create new characters, all that stuff. But, when they quote-unquote changed everything up, you know how they did it? They rehashed all the old stories. Like, literally, Marvel just spent an entire summer telling stories they've already told again. Like, it's just rehash after rehash. And they're getting away with it because, diversification. Like, it frustrates me because I love Marvel Comics, alright? I love, like, this, I want to be speaking about how much I love Jane Foster's new role as a tough Asgardian hero, but I am absolutely fixated on the fact that they feel the need to call her Thor when she's not. She's Jane Foster. She's not Thor, and that's okay. I think that's the biggest message. Is they have to, like, rely on the Thor name as a crutch. They can't let the Jane Foster name become its own thing. And at first I understand, they were trying to keep it a mystery. Who is it? Who is it? They had me fooled. I thought it was going to be some S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that Thor helped in one of the last books of his run, which, by the way, was one of the best runs they've had for Thor in a long time. And I was really loving it and really upset that they ended it. The stuff he was doing with Malekith, the God Killer stuff. Like, such a great run that I really, really loved. I'm okay with Jane Foster being the goddess of thunder, but find something else to call her. Find some other Asgardian name that doesn't even remotely resemble Thor. But they won't do it because it's a sellout thing, man. Like, they can just take the name Thor and say, oh, it's Thor. Everybody knows that name, so just follow this one, And it's wrong to me, Like, they kind of seal their own fate by, basically the way that Mjolnir is written. Whoever holds the hammer, I'm, again, paraphrasing. Should they be deemed worthy, which, fine, Jane Foster's worthy, I'm okay with that, shall possess the power of, not become. You are not all of a sudden a different person. You are still the person you've always been. You just happen to have the power of Thor. Just like Nova, you put on the helmet and, you're still Sam Alexander, but you're a member of the Nova Corps. Just like the Green Lanterns, there's Hal Jordan, there's Kyle Rayner, there's Guy Gardner, there's John Stewart. There's so many Green Lanterns. There's Kilowog, there was Sinestro. They're all members of the Green Lantern Corps. Like, and I'm not saying that, Thor is like an army builder, but that's what, to me, being worthy of holding Mjolnir is like, and then eventually Thor is worthy again, his dad stops being mad at him, and all is right in the world, and Jane Foster gets her own hammer, and we're good, like, and you didn't alienate your fans. That's, my biggest thing. You didn't alienate anybody over it, and that's what they did. Excuse me. And I think the part that's insulting is, instead of just acknowledging, yes, this is a change, we understand that, a lot of people are fans of Thor, they basically just force-fed it on everybody and said, you will like this or else. or else you're a bad person. You know, I feel like that's what they kind of resorted to. You know, like this new Thor, or else you're a bad person. And that is where I think they went wrong. So we're able to use our ultimate twice. Did almost no damage to Man-Ape with the ultimate. Maybe I was too close. But so I don't enjoy making videos where I complain nonstop. I mean, I promise you that. I am such a supportive person. You know, I have a great amount of respect and love for this game. They're just doing what they have to do by releasing this costume. And spending $15 on the costume is not really something I super wanted to do, but I'll do it. You know, just because I feel like my opinion needs to be heard, and I'm not afraid to have it. You know, like I feel like there's a lot of people that, you know, the current thing is if you don't support the cause, then you know you're a bad person. And I'm tired of that mentality. You know. I don't support this character as is. Like, you know, and it frustrates me because, you know, one of the things I've always loved doing is reading comic books, you know, and I'm being 100% legitimate. And the only comic book that I've purchased anytime recently was like some older Deadpool stuff, and just completing my Guardians of the Galaxy graphic novel set. That's it. That's all I'm doing, you know. And I go into the stores and I'll pick up the books and I'll read them a little bit. I'll look at them, and my brother Eric will keep me a little up to date on what's going on. And it's not for me, you know. Like, this is not for me. I'm not their target audience, and that sucks because, you know, I'm the person that all along throughout the years
you have proven yourself worthy of
has been their
Mjolnir's
target
burden
audience
time and again.
and has
But
been the
for
person
now,
that's
the
pumping
hammer
money
is
into the
mine
product
to
to keep
lift.
it alive. So what's happening, and I'm sure this is successful, but what happens when those other people go away? Because, you know, you've all of a sudden realized, hey, we need to get Thor, the real Thor, back into the fray. You know, what happens then? I mean, I hope it was worth it for him, but it's just, it's unfortunate because, like I said, I would want to support this character. I love Natalie Portman. I mean, I don't have many celebrity crushes, but Natalie Portman is absolutely at the top of my list. You know, top 3 easily. I mean, I can't even honestly think of anybody that I've ever really crushed on more than Natalie Portman, for so many reasons. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat which, like, doesn't want to go away, and I keep having to cough. You know, like, I think it would be a great storyline if in Ragnarok, whoa, that was weird. Like, if in Ragnarok, you know, Thor Ragnarok, that Jane Foster did get to be an Asgardian, you know, powerful goddess, you know, like, that would be awesome. There would be a great way to do it, but, and again, like, I think what they've done with Jane Foster, from what I've seen, it's actually not awful, and I know it's just a name, and people can, you know, criticize me for that, and I know that they will because you've done it before, but, you know, to me, that's a very important thing. It's a very important identity, and the way that Marvel did it was a slap in the face of people like me. They said, no, this is Thor. Not Thor Girl, not Thora, not She-Thor. No, this is Thor. That other person, not Thor. I don't care what you liked before. I don't care. You know, it's like they threw away the legacy of the character and force-fed Jane Foster down your throat and made you have to accept her as Thor, or else you're a bad person. You know? And I know I've said that a couple times now, but that is the way that Marvel made people like me feel about this character. You know, like her or you're a bad person. And I'm sorry, I say fuck that, you know? So, like, I don't know where we go from here, because I just, you know, it's a little frustrating. I'm not going to keep using this costume. Like, literally, I spent $15 to make this video. And I know I could have just gone into the test environment and just done it for free there. But, I don't know. I guess I feel guilty about some of the stuff I might have downloaded in the past. So, I'm all for diversifying. I'm all for, you know, creating new powerful female characters, powerful Asian characters, powerful black characters, all of those things. But I just kind of feel like if Marvel ever wanted to take advantage of a storyline they've created, this Inhuman storyline is the way to go. They could have done it so easily with the Inhuman storyline. You know, they're doing it with this Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, you know. She's a Inhuman, and if she hits that Terrigen Crystal, then that's it. She's become something else. That's how you can create your new characters. You know, you've got the platform for it right now, the Inhuman storyline. You know? And I applaud them for trying to elevate other characters. But there's just such a great, you know, roster of characters you already have. Some that are black, some that are female, some that are Asian. You know, you don't need to take existing characters and remove them from the fray and give their identity to somebody else. The whole mantle thing, a little overboard, okay? You don't have to do that. That's not something you have to do. Like Kate Bishop, does she really have to be Hawkeye? Can't she have her own name and identity? Like, why does that have to be a mantle? I understand there's a storyline behind that and whatever. I get it. That's fine. But the first thing that popped into my head is there's like 2 Hawkeyes right now. And like all these Spider-Men from alternate dimensions. Like, man, I like Spider-Gwen. I think that's a great concept. Miles Morales, you know, all right, you've carried him over. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He will always be Spider-Man. He's one of the top 2 or 3 most popular comic book characters in the world, and always will be. So why, I get that Miles was Spider-Man in another dimension, so now he's here. Why can't he be something else, you know? You've had a Scarlet Spider before. You've had a Superior Spider-Man before. You know, there's just... it's just a little frustrating, and I get it. I've said it a few times. But this is, for me, the linchpin. Jane Foster. That is who she is. That's Jane Foster. I will never call her Thor again. You know, you've obviously seen the title. Lots of sarcasm. That is Jane Foster. She pretends to be Thor. And, you know, the rest, as they say, is history. But I really wish that they could find a balance that could make fans that have always been there for them, like me, you know, not feel like we're being, you know, shit on, for lack of a better word. You know, I've got a $90 like Thor bust in my living room, and then I've got a Beta Ray Bill one right next to it. You know, like I've got Thor action figures, and posters, and, you know, all sorts of stuff. And you know, I don't have as much for Thor as I do others, but like, you know, what's next? You know, like it's just. And then I look at Rich Rider as Nova, and the most, I think Rich Rider as Nova is the most insulting one for me, because at this point, they're bringing back the Nova Corps, and where's Rich Rider? You just have this huge thing where you could have brought back Rich Rider so easy, a character that so many fans have been begging for, and instead you bring in the Nova family. You've got friggin' Nova as a kid, Nova as a dog, 2 parents as Nova. If you're going to have a Nova Corps, bring back Nova Prime. Okay? You know, it's just, there's so many existing fans that, you know, have to watch their favorite characters become something completely different, you know, and for what, you know, like, to me it's no different than, you know, Hollywood, you know, saying they want to make a movie and then not using the script that was already written for them, you know, and basically just wanting to make the movie based on, you know, some semblance of the story, you know. So anyway, I could probably keep going the whole way, but this is the Jane Foster costume, an enhanced costume for Thor, part of the all new, all different kind of run that they got going on here. You know, if you are a fan of the character, that's cool. Like, I mean, I don't mean to disrespect it. Like I said, I 100% applaud, you know, female powerful characters. I love Captain Marvel. You know, I love what they did with Miss Marvel. To me, that's a mantle. You know, Kamala Khan is a great character. And I think that was one of the instances where they used it right, because, you know, Captain Marvel, you know, abandoned it in favor of Captain Marvel. So, you know, Spider-Gwen, you know, this character is really popular, and this really is doing really well. So that's really cool. You know, X-23 as the all-new Wolverine makes a lot of sense. She's a clone of Wolverine, you know, and Wolverine is, I don't know if he's dead or if he's back or if he's Old Man Logan again. So, I mean, all these things make sense. So you're already doing it in the situations where it does make sense. You don't have to do it in the ones that it doesn't. Anyway, my opinion, you guys can feel free to agree or disagree. Either way, please be respectful. Probably should have said that earlier. I don't feel like I'm being disrespectful to anybody. You know, you have a right to like the character if you do. I don't agree with you, but you know, it is what it is. So, J Shock West, I'm out. Peace.